After a marathon session, we're calling it that, but look at none of those people could run a marathon. But it was a marathon session. The House of Representatives has begun voting on President Trump's tax and spending bill. Emily Wilkins joins us now from Washington. It may be the wrong word, Emily. Anyway, is it happening?
Look, I've only run 2 marathons. I would definitely call this one a marathon.
You've done it.
And yes,
You've seen the only 2. Is anyone else there?
That's a flex.
That's
a flex.
That is a total flex.
They're voting. They're doing the thing. Look, at this point, Republicans can afford to lose 3 votes. They've already lost 2. We knew about these. Thomas Massie, Warren Davidson both come out publicly and said no. And so at this point, though, we're waiting to see if there is a third. They can afford it. It'd be the 4th. But look, the vibe on the floor is good. People are coming up to Mike Johnson. They're shaking his hand. Sometimes before these votes, you actually see the whip team running around trying to pressure members into last minute. You haven't seen that this time. And so while the vote is still open and still going, things are looking pretty optimistic for the House being able to pass this. Guys?
17 votes, 17 Republicans who haven't voted yet. So that does look like it's pretty good at this point. If they vote present, that's fine.
It would depend. The math, we got to math the math if you have people start voting present, because they wouldn't count, but it could alter things. At this point, again, we're just kind of really keeping an eye out for the nays and the yays, and keeping an eye out for kind of any members who are voicing opposition at this moment. Technically, if a couple vote present, they could wind up being in trouble. But so far, not seen any present votes at the moment.
You told us 2 of the no's. Have there been any that are surprising yeses? Like, is Chip Roy already? Is he on board now? I haven't followed that. But any of those any of the problem children that have voted yes at this point that you're aware of, or
so? Unfortunately, I can't see exactly who has voted at this point, but we know that Chip Roy came out, told a group of reporters that he was feeling better about the bill just a couple hours ago. We've also seen it reported that Tim Burchett, Ralph Norman are also going to be supporting this legislation.
Yeah, so you know.
14 who haven't voted yet. There's only a minute left before the vote closes. If they don't vote, I don't know if you know the math off the top of your head, Emily, what that would mean with 204 yays, 212 or 214 nays. Oh, somebody else just voted yes.
My guess is leadership will keep this. They will keep this vote open until they have the votes that they need, or until they realize that they way overestimated themselves and they have a long way left to go. But I would just sort of keep watching this. I wouldn't pay too much attention to the time remaining. They've gone over before. They'll go over again. Seen it now tick down to 9, no voting. And we're just continuing to monitor this. Again, the vibe on the floor seemed really good. Folks coming up, shaking Johnson's hand. Didn't seem to be any intense last-minute whip operations. But this is really it. This is the moment of truth in the House. And if some of the holdouts still have concerns after changes were being made, or still feel pressure to do more to try to reduce the debt within this package, I mean, look, if anything can happen at this point, we're keeping a very close eye on what's happening on the floor.
So there's only 6 Republicans who haven't voted yet. Assuming that this passes, the next step is for it immediately to get picked up in the Senate? 5-4.
Yes, the next step would be for this to go into the Senate. And I'll note right now that currently it seems like it is tied 214 to 214. So we only need one more Republican, and there we go. So right now, the bill has the votes to pass. Nothing is final until the vote is closed. But at this moment, I'm seeing members begin to applaud on the floor.
They're clapping, which
looks
means
like
they're
about
going
to
close
call
it.
this.
Yeah. Emily, thank you. It's not always fun to watch the sausage get made, but this was pretty interesting.
Mike Johnson, again.
Yep.
But the Mike Johnson, President Trump
Combo. Tag team, maybe you should call it.
I think they're... they're in terms of losing, I think, has Johnson lost one? Yeah, not a bit. He hasn't lost one yet, has he, Emily? She's gone.
I mean, as far as losing, no, he's gotten this thing through. He's made everything work so far. A lot of tense moments, a lot of late night negotiations. But he, along with, I think, where you can't undersell the influence of President Trump on this process, have been able to find consensus among their members and get them to yes. And this is definitely a huge victory at this moment for Speaker Johnson. And we do see one member is voting present. Seen some reporting that could be Andy Harris would be that present vote, but it doesn't matter at this point. They have the votes to pass.
It looks like Mike Johnson. Yeah, there it is. The Speaker Johnson himself is standing up at the podium. Can't hear what he's saying. I don't know.
He's got to take the victory lap. Huge moment for him.
Yeah. There's the gavel. Vote's closed. And you hear the applause on the floor. So they have gotten that passed through the House. Next step is to move on to the Senate. We'll see
like a Cheshire cat
how they handle with that.
Swallowed a canary. Did you see that smile?
Changes.
And now we get to watch the markets. And I don't expect much. I think the market probably figured this was going to happen.
Probably. I mean, I guess the place to look would be the Treasury markets at this point. You can see actually, we've cut some of the losses for the Dow. We were down by about double that, down by about 45 points before. 30 years actually picking up that yield.
S&P's up now.
By about 5.9%. 10-year looks like it's right around the same as where we'd been. And the 2 years just above, maybe a couple, 401. So it's still in the same range.
So what's the timeline for how long will it take the Senate, Emily? I know you can't say for sure, but how long?
Well, no, we have a timeline because we know what the deadline is, right? We know that this bill would raise the debt limit, so we know it's going to be the X date. The way I've heard it laid out to me is that the thought is kind of give Senate the month of June to be able to go through the bill, debate, discuss any changes, have them move it then, come back with the House maybe end of June, early July, work out anything there and make sure that they're able to get this passed before the X date or, of course, before they go on their August recess, which they are very protective of, make sure they're not going to hit that debt ceiling. So that's the timeline right now.